أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه آمين يا رب العالمين. Okay, so last time we did ayah number 12 of Surah Al-Hujarat, and we talked about gossiping, backbiting, and that is not acceptable in our religion. We are not supposed to do that. One of the things that we all discussed also was assumptions, that we assume things, and that's also is sinful. Like you assume that somebody is discriminating. You assume that somebody that particular person doesn't like me. So assumption is also a sin, and it also creates a lot of misunderstandings. So I wanted to just finish up ayah number 12 with the one small, you can say the example, or you can say the study or the story. They did the study about assumptions, and the study was that they hired 10 women or 10 girls, you can say. They hired 10 girls and they put the black mark on their face. Okay. And they said that you have to go for the job interview. You have to go for the job interview. And we wanted to see how you feel about it, and if anybody discriminates because you have a mark on your face. And they actually pretended to make the mark on the face darker, and in that thing actually they rubbed the mark. So I hope you understand, they did not let them see the mirror. They showed that they actually made the mark darker, and they removed the mark. Now all these 10 girls, they went out for the job interview, and all of them then were invited for the feedback. They all came, and all of them came with one thing. But everybody was the same. They were discriminated because of the mark on the face. Nobody is hiring. They are not hiring, and they also said that the person keeps looking at my mark on my face. And so what does that mean? There was no mark on their faces, right? Because before they made them go, they removed the mark, but they did not tell them that we actually removed the mark. They all were thinking that they had the mark on their face, but actually there was nothing. Then where was the mark? The mark was in their head, right? Inside your head, inside your heart, not anywhere else. That's why they came up. Now, if somebody is looking at them, they're thinking he's looking at my mark, but there was no mark. They're thinking the person is not being very friendly because they have the mark on the face. What was that? It's assumption that they made, that because I have a mark on the face, people are not liking it. But actually, it was nothing there. So in everything, it's when so assumptions create a lot of issues in the society. A girl goes to find a job and says, oh, because of my hijab, I did not get hired. Or because I have a dark complexion, people are judgmental. Or because I have this, people are looking at me like this. It's just all assumptions. Sometimes nobody is even watching you or have no issues, but it's all in my head. So that's why assumptions about people is a sin. You are thinking that people are negative thinking about you, but there is nothing wrong. Okay. So that is about the assumptions. So, and how do we get all these assumptions? These assumptions are coming from shaitan. Shaitan wants you to always be upset, not happy, and also disturbed and loser, not successful, and always wanted to create problems between your family members and your friends. That's why it keeps putting assumptions in your mind. Oh, she looked at you like this because you have a this thing. Because you don't have a husband, that's why she's looking at you like this. Because you are from Pakistan, she's looking at you like this. Because you are dark, she's looking at you like this. Because you're doing this. There is nothing in somebody's head, it is only in my head. So that is called assumption. And this was a test that I shared with you. This test was done just to see if what actually is going on in our heads. Also, so we need to avoid assumptions. That is the bottom line from ayat number 12, which I forgot to clarify about it. Now we are going to talk about ayah number 13 today. Ayah number 13 is all about equality. Okay, and I discussed about our prophet's life last week. And if somebody was not there, should go back and listen to it. So because it will be easier for you to understand, this is today's lesson when you know what I taught last week. I taught you about our prophet and the way our prophet and people were tortured. They left Makkah, they came back and they went Medina. And after that, they came back after 8 years, and then Makkah was conquered. Now Makkah is for Muslims. So this is where I start my story now. When the Muslims army took over Makkah, because again, the reason was because there was a treaty between the people of Makkah and Muslims, and they broke the treaty. So then Prophet has to come and conquer Makkah. That was everything. Now the Prophet asked Bilal. Who was Bilal? Bilal was a black Habshi, which is considered, I think black color is always considered the inferior in every race. Everybody thinks that black is they are just something below. But our Islam doesn't allow that. So that's the story behind it, that he asked Bilal. Originally, he was a slave from Ethiopia. And he asked that because he had a beautiful voice. So he asked Bilal to go on the top of the Kaaba and make azan. Now, one Makkan man, the person who was living in Makkah, said to his friend, I am glad my dad died before he could see someone like this black guy like Bilal on the top of the Kaaba. His friend replied, could Muhammad not find anyone better than this for azan except this black crow? Kala kavva. Kale kavve se behtar koi aur nahi mila tha. That's how he meant. Allah revealed to the Prophet about these two men, said to him. So he told them about their comments that they were racist. These is racist. You should not talk about anybody like that. Also, so I'll continue with that. Our Prophet said, oh humanity, your Lord is one, and you came from the same father and mother. So we all, either it's black, it's Chinese, it's Hispanic, it's Pakistani, it's Indian, it's Gora, it's Kala, everybody. Who is the mother? Hawa, Eve. We all have the same mother and the same father. No Arab is better than a non-Arab. No non-Arab is better than Arab. No white is better than black, and no black is better than white. What matters is who has the best manners or who has the fear of Allah. So this is what our religion tells us. This is our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's hadith, that no discrimination at all. And why, then people think, oh, but then why is everybody's color is different, languages are different? This is a blessing that we all look different, speak different languages, have different cultures. Imagine, we all are same, all look the same, like Chinese, all look same, spoke the same language, ate the same food. When I said Chinese, I was just trying to be funny, that because they look so much the same. We all eat the same food every day. This world would be such a boring place. Every day you get the same food. Everybody looks the same. Everybody has same house. Everybody has same kind of mother's father, everything. What? Because Allah wanted to make this dunya colorful, Allah has given all these different colors, different languages, different cultures. It's just to make it look nicer, kind of, you can say variety of everybody. Although we have differences, but we were created equal. Whites are no better than black, and blacks are no better than whites. Again, you have to remember, again, men are not better than women, and women are not better than men. Racism is not acceptable in Islam. And Shaitan, Iblis, was the first one who was the racist. Why? He thought he was better than Adam. Why? Simply because how he was created. That I am better than him. Why? Because I was created with fire and Adam is created with mud. So he was the racist one. And that's what he does to all of us. He puts the thoughts of racism in us. But racism is not allowed in our religion. You know, even in United States, if you have heard the stories that people, all the blacks had a different place to water fountain, different schools, different benches, different buses. They had different, it was a lot of discrimination. Now it is getting better, but it's still there is some discrimination. But we have to, now what Allah teaches us, that we should not have discrimination. The Quran actually talks about two types of brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam. Our brothers and sisters in humanity, because we all came from the same father and mother, like mother and Hawa. This covers all humanity, everybody. We all are the same. Again, I told you. And second, we all biological brothers and sisters, because if we have the same, because we have came from the same father and mother, which includes our blessed siblings. So there is two kind of brotherhood and sisterhood. One is that we all are brothers and sisters, and secondly, because when you have the same, like biological, like your own mother and fathers, whatever brothers you have. So this is also your brothers and sisters. Again, in Islam, everybody's created equal. If a man or a woman does sadaqah, charity, they get the exact same reward, depending on how sincere each of them is. Allah created all of them equal, but they have created equal, but to play unique roles in life, to compete each other. Men and women are made different to complete each other, not compete with each other. We don't do that. We are not supposed to compete against each other, because some sisters, they say, oh, how come I need to wear hijab, but my brother doesn't have to? Some even brothers say that how come my sister gets to wear the gold and silk clothes, but I am not allowed to? The reason is men are not the standard for the women, and women are not the standard for men. These are not the standard. If most of the people in the military, for example, if most of the people in military or are in prison are men, it doesn't mean that women have to be there to achieve equality. And if most of the nurses and students of art are women, it doesn't mean that men have to do the same thing to achieve the success. Not all men are interested in the military, and not all the women are interested in cooking and in art, interested in art. Every one of us is unique in the way, and everyone has to be the potential at what they themselves had to do it. So you have to understand that we are not here to say, okay, why this guy? No, man is not the standard. At the end of the day, every person will get their reward based on their obedience to Allah and how they treat others. So that's the bottom line. Treating others and obedience to Allah. Islam has honored women. by giving them the right to inherit. See, if somebody dies, women get the money, means inheritance from their relatives. If women is allowed to get education, women is allowed to have the property. She can, and she have the say for the marriage too. If she doesn't like someone, that's okay. He can say, I don't like him, or she has the say if she wants to marry. The high status of women in Islam explains because why 75% of the new Muslims are females, because they understand that in other religions, there is no religion and there is just a lot of discrimination. But you see that abuses against some Muslim women. You observe in Pakistan, you observe Indonesia, you observe in India, you observe that, oh my God, women over there, they get abused. They get into forced marriages. And why? And they don't give the education, or they don't even give the share in the inheritance, right, to women. But this is all the cultural practices in some Muslim countries, but they go against Islamic teachings. It's not Islam. If they do that, they're doing this against Islam. So you need to understand, when you see Muslims doing something wrong, it doesn't mean that's a part of a religion. If you observe, there are so many Muslim women in every field now, in education, science, doctors, businesses, and so on. Some people, Muslim women, have been elected president and prime minister also in some countries like Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Turkey. So it's not, a religion allows this kinds of freedom. It's not that women is stupid and she doesn't know anything, she doesn't have a right. That's just a culture. Then someone can say, oh, if men and women are equal, then how come there are no female prophets in Islam, right? People say that. Why? To answer these questions, we need to understand that there are two kinds of wahi. What does wahi means? Wahi is the message from Allah. So there are two kinds. One is inspiration, one is revelation. Now, inspiration, what is inspiration? So inspiration is also sent to women, because according to the Qur'an, Allah has inspired many people to act a certain way. For example, mother of Musa. We'll also read the story when Musa was born. Pharaoh at that time was killing the boys and was saying that all the boys should be killed. But Hazrat Musa, or Hazrat Musa's mother, Allah inspired her that take care of Musa until you fear of his life, and then you put him in the basket and let him go, and Allah will take care of him, and he will bring him back to you. So that was the inspiration. It says in Quran that Allah did to Musa's mother. Secondly, other Jibrail also, and even other angels, they also spoke directly to Maryam alayhi salam, which was the mother of Hazrat Isa. So that is inspiration. So Allah has inspired, or the wahi has been sent to women also. But they were not given the responsibilities of the prophethood. So that's the main question, why they did not become the prophet, and why they did not get the responsibilities. Now, that is called revelation. So inspiration is given to both men and women. Now, revelation that comes from people, this is directly a command from Allah to his prophets and messengers, who were all men. Although men and women are equally capable of achieving great things, we have to keep in mind that the challenges that female prophets would have faced thousands of years ago. If you remember, according to the Quran, if you see, I explained you the prophet's life, our prophet, he was abused, he was mocked, and many of the prophets were even killed. Some had to travel long distances, like Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has to travel at that time when traveling was not safe at all. Even Hazrat Isa had to travel, Hazrat Musa had to travel. They had long travels to deliver the message, or they even have to fight wars to defend their community. So if you think about it, historically, women cared for their children and families. See, making them responsible for delivering the message and dealing with their enemies would have been added more hardship to their lives, right? Women is not very physically very strong to go fight. If she has to take care of the kids, plus she has to fight, plus she has to deliver the message of Allah, plus she has to make money and all these things, it would be too much for women to do. So it is the blessing of Allah that Allah did not put too many responsibilities on women. Allah protected actually women from abuse and extra burdens. It is true that all prophets were men, but women were their mothers, sisters, and best helpers. So if women can take care of the kids and give birth to prophets, what else we can think? Mothers can not do, or she's not a prophet, but she can give birth to the prophet. Like Maryam, she gave birth to Isa. Amna gave birth to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So women give birth to the prophets. So now this was all the background of ayat number 13. Now I'm going to read ayat number 13 and with translation, and then we can move to the other ayah. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر أو أنثى جعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. O humanity, sure, we created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes, so that you may get to know each other. Certainly, the best of you in the sight of Allah is the one with the best manners. Allah has perfect knowledge and is fully aware. So again, Allah said, again, the same thing that I gave you the whole background story. Again, the same thing is here, that the nations and tribes all are there just for that we know each other, so then you may get to know each other. It's not there, all the colors and everything is not there to discriminate. It's just to know each other. So this is ayat number 13. Now we'll continue with ayat number 14, and actually ayat number 14, 15, 16. This is all about one thing, and this is about hypocrites. What do you mean by hypocrite? Hypocrite means a person. Okay, few things that I'm going to talk to you about the hypocrite. Hypocrite is a person who says something different and does something different. Like you can say, he says, I am a good Muslim. And in the meantime, he is gossiping, assuming.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Good.
And doing all the wrong things. So the
sugar, okay?
Background of the story is, continue, is it okay? I'm just doing my thing.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So the background story is, there was a tribe called Bani Asad, okay, that lived in the Arabian desert. They used to travel from one place to another in search of water and food for their animals. A group of them, they accepted Islam. Why? Why did they accept Islam? Because they wanted to get some worldly benefits, to get some donations from money from the Prophet. They used to brag about their faith. So the Prophet told them that they might have accepted Islam with their tongues, but not with their hearts. Okay, so that's the background. Now, so again, the background, again, I will give you the hypocrites story. The hypocrites, that some people in the days of a prophet, they were not really Muslims, but actually they will brag about that we are Muslims. And action speaks louder than words. For example, me and you, we all are born as Muslims. But are we really Muslims? That's the question we need to ask. By reading this book, you will understand if I'm really a Muslim, because Muslim is a man of principle and man of actions. If you are still in doing bad things, you're gossiping, your assumptions, you're backbiting, you don't take care of your parents, you are still not listening to your parents, you are a bad person, you are doing everything wrong, and you still call yourself a Muslim, then it means we are not really Muslims. We are just saying that I am a Muslim, but you are actually not a Muslim. So that's what this whole thing is, because people would brag about it, but they don't perform what they believe in. And majority 99.99% of Muslims are not doing what they're supposed to do. That's why it says that in hellfire, Muslim, there will be 99.99 people will be in the hellfire. And the reason is because they say we are Muslims and they don't behave like one. Like when you see people doing wrong things, okay, Islam, it's also said that Islam is the best religion because it's the right religion. But Muslims are the worst followers. Majority white people, you say, or any other non-Muslims, they still talk, they are honest, they are upfront, they're not going to do something wrong to you. But if you talk to Muslim people and you say, you know what, I don't like to be around Muslims, they are so bad, they gossip, they make you fight, it's all politics, all of them. This is called hypocrisy. They are not doing what they're supposed to do, but they pretend that they are good people. So that's why it says this is all ayats about hypocrites. Hypocrites, the 3 signs of hypocrites that a prophet has said. The 3 signs of hypocrites, and with these 3 signs, me and you are all going to check ourselves if I'm really a Muslim. First sign, lying. They open their mouth, they lie. If I and you, if we are lying into lying, that it means we are hypocrite. And hypocrite is going to hellfire. Second, whenever they make promises, they don't keep it. Oh, I'm going to see you tomorrow, and they don't even plan to see you. They said, oh, I'm never going to say something about you, and they do. And they promise things, but they don't do it. That's another sign of hypocrite. The third sign is they do not take care of your amana. What do you mean by amana? You're going out of town, for example, and you ask your friend, okay, by the time I come back, can you take care of my car? Or can you take care of my pet? Can you take care of my jewelry? Or you take care of my anything? And what they do, instead of taking care of it, they are actually using it. So that's called amanat mein khayanat. Or you tell your friend, I'm secretly sharing you one thing, that this is it. And what happens? That friend shares your secret with somebody else. You told her this is amana. You cannot share with anybody else, but that is still shared. That's also hypocrite. So 4 signs that about hadith. When it gets angry, then this person, hypocrite, when he becomes angry, he uses curse words and he screams and yells and shouts. That's also a sign of hypocrite. So 4 signs. Number 1, lying. Number 2, not keeping the promises. You promise, I'm not going to do this, and you still do it. That's a munafiq. That's hypocrite. Third, you amanat, khayanat. When somebody gives you something to take care of it, you don't take care of it. Actually, you abuse it. And fourth, when you get upset, you scream, you yell, you accuse, or you use the bad words. That's called, so 4 signs. If you have any one of them, then kind of that we are hypocrite. So we have to change ourselves. By this, these ayah are talking about all these. Okay, now this ayah is also about, like, suppose we all are Muslims and we call ourselves Muslims, but again, when reading Quran and getting the lectures from me and Zakia and everyone, when we have to change ourselves, and we cannot just say that I am a Muslim until you act upon it. If you are not acting upon it, then maybe we are not Muslims. And this goes for me and you, every one of us. This goes to everyone who says they are Muslim, but actually Iman did not even enter their hearts. They don't even know what Quran says. They don't even know what a prophet is doing. They don't even know the sunnahs of a prophet. They don't know anything, and they don't even behave or work accordingly. But they call themselves Muslim. I'm